Things are about to get positively medieval as the Knights and the Griffins and the Spartans and the Knights battle it out next on Quiz Kids.
It's the Bay Area Quiz Kids. Brought to you by the San Mateo Credit Union. And now, the best host on the West Coast, Brad Friedman.
Thank you very much. We only had to tape that opening 40 times, but I'm so glad all four teams are here. Let's meet the first two today, the Crystal Springs Upland Griffins. And they are taking on the Hillsdale Knights. Welcome, Grace and gentlemen. Let's begin with your first toss-up question. Good luck to both teams. Port cities on this body of water include Split and Dubrovnik. What's this arm of the Mediterranean Sea, Henry?
The Adriatic.
That is right. For 25 points, Split and Dubrovnik are within what coastal region of Croatia, which lent its name to a breed of dog known for its black spots?
Dalmatia.
Correct. And for 50 points, the Adriatic Sea is connected to the Ionian Sea via what strait named for a city on the very tip of the Italian heel?
Messina.
No, Otranto. Otranto. Here's your next toss-up. He composed poems to the dark lady and the fair youth. Henry.
William Shakespeare.
That is right. For 25 points. The poems he wrote were all written using what 14-line poetic form consisting of 3 quatrains and a couplet?
Sonnet.
Right. And for 50 points, which English poet wrote the sonnet collection Amoretti and the epic poem The Faerie Queen?
Spenser.
You got 50 points. Next toss-up. Some of these structures bear scroll-like ornaments called volutes. What are these architectural features that often support roofs and whose orders, Henry?
Columns.
Right. For 25 points, the volute is part of which topmost portion of a column which receives the weight of the structure it supports?
The buttress.
The capital. Let's take a break. Henry's tired. And we'll meet the players of both teams. First, from the Griffins, Jake, how are you?
Doing well. Doing
Good.
well, Brad.
I understand that you founded the Griffin Politics Club.
I did.
Fed up with Washington politics, you guys decided to solve the problems at Crystal Springs.
Absolutely. You know, we were kind of tired of not having a forum at our school to talk about political issues, learn about political issues. So a politically active friend and I started this club. Our school gives us clubs, period. And so we talk about all sorts of
Get
issues.
some lively debates going?
Lively debates, but it's always civil. You know, we're Griffins. We're not that.
Exactly. You're not
We're not too ferocious. You know,
right,
especially
exactly.
on the debate team.
Good
you know?
for you. Griffins are a gentle beast. Henry, you're a
Yes.
fiddler.
I am.
You fiddle around.
All around.
And do you play a lot of classical stuff, or do you actually stomp on the floor and?
Oh, some of both. Some of both. Classical stuff, you know, Scottish stuff, Irish stuff.
Oh, cool,
hillbilly
like
stuff.
reels and things like that.
Yes, indeed.
People dance when Henry plays, like
Hopefully.
like Nero wanted them to dance.
Well, then, yeah, not
Right.
like that.
Patrick,
Hello.
you created a squash club. You guys are like all the activities at Crystal Springs happen because of you guys. What's the
way.
squash club do?
Well, we play squash, which is a sport, not a vegetable. I don't know if it's fruit or vegetable, but it's a sport. And it's one of the more unknown sports in the Bay Area. And
Do you play acorn squash or butternut squash? Sorry. Anyway, do you guys actually play it, or you just sit around and talk about it?
No, we play. We
Okay.
play. Yeah, we go out and we play, and we're going to start a league
Kind
soon.
of a rough game, isn't it?
Yeah, I've almost lost on my front teeth by playing, but it's okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good for you. Welcome, Hillsdale Knights and Michael Wu.
Yes.
I've been hearing for the last couple of weeks, everyone's getting into debate again, and you guys have an ethics bowl.
Yeah,
What is the
I mean,
ethics
it really
bowl?
should be called ethics debate, as they give you a case, and then you're just supposed to debate it out. I mean, it's actually quite civil, now that I think of it, because...
What was the last case?
The last case we had was called Photoshop Fiction, in which we were debating the ethics over photoshopping, like, models in magazines.
Get rid of those blemishes and those age lines?
Yeah, and like making them slimmer.
I don't know what's
just-
wrong with that. Well, never mind.
Well,
Grace, you're part of the biotech program. You actually have to go to another school to go to
Yeah.
biotech, but you're really into biotech,
Yes.
huh? And my producer wrote her favorite instrument. I thought she would talk about the clarinet or the harp, but you want to talk about your favorite biotech instrument, which is?
Spectrophotometer.
And what sound does that make? No, I'm kidding.
It matters if it's working or not.
Okay. If it works, what does it measure?
It helps you find out the concentration of solutions to see if you made them right.
Everyone at home just learned something. Thank you very much, Grace. Ben Cannavaro, Ari, you're part of the drama program.
Yes, I am.
And one of the things you guys do is take part in a project through TheaterWorks called the Young Playwrights Project.
Yes, what that project is basically, and everybody in our advanced drama class for 4 weeks, we make our own 10-minute play, very short, 10 pages long. And then at the end of those 4 weeks, 8 of us are chosen to have our plays actually performed by like real live professional actors.
From TheaterWorks.
Yes.
And you got chosen.
I did, yes.
Was that thrilling?
It was very surreal having stuff that I wrote at like 2 in the morning taken seriously by these actors.
Taken seriously. There
Yes.
you go. You have the same kind of that modesty of an author. Congratulations. Maybe the next full-length play will be done at TheaterWorks. You never know. Good luck to both teams. We have Hillsdale itching to get on the board. So let's start with our next toss-up. A British computer scientist devised a hypothetical device that, despite its simplicity, could implement any algorithm and mimic any computer. Yes, Benjamin.
Turing?
That is right, the Turing machine. For 25 points, while at Bletchley Park, Alan Turing, I just saw the movie. While at Bletchley Park, Alan Turing designed the first bomb machine to break what German code?
Enigma.
Yeah, the Enigma.
That is correct, drama guy. And for 50 points, Benedict Cumberbatch, my lookalike, portrays Alan Turing in which Golden Globe nominated film?
The Imitation Game.
That's 50 points, and it's a great movie. Here's your next toss-up. This poem's title character compares himself to an attendant lord who might start a scene or two. Name this poem which repeats the lines, "In the room the women come and go," talking of Michelangelo. We're not reading our T.S. Eliot enough, are we? The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Here's your next toss-up. American historian C. Van Woodward wrote a book on the strange career of this concept. What two-word term that describes laws that enforce segregation in the South following Reconstruction? Yes, Patrick.
Jim Crow.
That is right. For 25 points, the term Jim Crow was originally the name of a character invented to mock which 7th president?
Andrew Jackson.
That's right. And for 50 points, Jim Crow laws were sustained by which 1896 Supreme Court case in which the court approved of separate but equal accommodations for African Americans?
Plessy versus Ferguson.
You got 50 points. Next toss-up. It will become the pole star around the year AD 14,000. Michael.
Vega?
Right. For 25 points, Vega is a star in what constellation that represents a musical instrument resembling a small harp?
Lyra.
Lyra?
That is right. For 50 points, Lyra contains which object, alternately known as NGC 6720, that has bright bands of expelled gas around a darker interior?
Eagle Nebula? I don't know.
I'm sure a nebula. maybe?
Eagle Nebula?
No, the Ring Nebula. Next toss-up. This technique has been used to grow foods on remote islands without enough soil. What is this field of agriculture in which plants... Yes, Grace.
Hydroponics.
Correct. For 25 points, one common substrate is the husks left over from processing which crop, a staple food throughout much of East and South Asia?
Rice?
Yes. Rice. For 50 points, one early use of hydroponics was to grow vegetables on Wake Island for passengers on which airline whose clippers pioneered transoceanic flight routes?
Pan Am?
Say again?
Pan Am?
You got 50 points. And that is the end of the round. Very close, 125 to 135. We'll be back to see how this match plays out. Don't go away. Welcome back. Let's give a hand to the coaches for both teams. From Crystal Springs, Mr. Keith Carricker. And it takes two coaches to tame the Blue Bloods of Hillsdale, Mr. Chris Stallings and Mr. Ethan Stewart. Thank you, guys. Okay, 10 points separate the teams. All you have to do is answer some questions correctly. You could perhaps win Hillsdale. I've got 3 categories, 7 questions in each category. The point value is 30 points per correct answer. If you get one correct answer, you'll take the lead, but you want to get as many correct as you can so you can put a faster lead over, a larger lead over Crystal Springs before they take their turn. Today's categories are Dr. Doctor, When in Rome, and New Season. Which category would you like?
We're going to take Dr. Doctor.
Dr. Doctor, okay. Name the authors who created these literary doctors. The authors who created these literary doctors. Who created Dr. Victor Frankenstein?
Yeah, Shelley.
Shelley.
That is right. Who created Dr. Henry Jekyll?
Check on Mr. Hyde. Check on Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
I feel like I When in doubt, try Smith.
Smith?
It was Stevenson, Robert Louis Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Who created Dr. No?
Oh, you know that. You should know. Okay, so that's James Bond.
Yes.
But who wrote those ones? Clancy? No. No, Clancy's like America.
Grace?
No idea.
Clancy.
Oh, Ian Fleming will be very displeased. Ian Fleming. Who wrote Dr. Zhivago? Which all young people read today,
Yeah.
but they used to.
Smith?
Close. Boris Pasternak. Who wrote about Dr. John H. Watson?
Oh,
I can't read Arthur.
Doyle, Sir Arthur.
Doyle.
That is right,
First
Sir Arthur
name.
Conan Doyle. Who wrote about Dr. John Dolittle
I read those books.
and the Push Me Pull You?
Smith.
Grace?
Smith.
It's Hugh Lofting. And finally, who wrote about Dr. Moreau?
Smith.
No, it was H.G. Wells. And I think you got 2 right. You have 185. You're in the lead. Let's turn to Crystal Springs and pick a category. When in Rome or New Season?
We want When in Rome.
When in Rome. I'll give you the Greek name, and you give me the Roman name of this god or goddess. Poseidon.
Neptune.
That's right. Hermes.
Mercury.
You just need one. No, you don't. You done. You won the game. Congratulations. Thank you, both teams. We'll see you next week, and we'll be back in just a minute with the next round. Welcome back. Let's meet the teams for our second match. Over here we have the Menlo School Knights. And on this side we have the Mountain View Spartans. Good luck to both teams. Welcome, Ella. Gentlemen, here's your first toss-up question. Its Badwater Basin is the point of lowest elevation in the United States. Kevin.
Death Valley,
That is right. For 25 points, what's the name of the desert where you'll find Death Valley?
Mojave Desert,
That is right. And for 50 points, Death Valley is 85 miles from which California peak that's the highest mountain in the lower 48 states? And your answer, Kevin?
Mount Whitney.
That is right for 50 points. Next toss-up. One poster for this establishment advertises the can-can dancer La Goulou. A 2001 Baz Luhrmann film shares its name with what Paris cabaret? Kevin.
Moulin Rouge,
That is right. For 25 points, the Moulin Rouge was a frequent subject of paintings and posters by which short French artist?
Monet,
Toulouse-Lautrec. Next toss-up. This group seized power from Lon Nol with the help of the previously deposed King Norodom Sihanouk. What was this Cambodian government that created prison camps such as S-21? Yes, Christopher.
The Khmer Rouge.
That is right, for 25 points. Which leader of the Khmer Rouge was known as Brother Number One?
Pol Pot.
Right, and for 50 points, the Khmer Rouge was toppled after Cambodia was invaded by which country?
Vietnam.
You got 50 points too. Sorry. Let's take a breath. Let me clear my throat. And let's meet the players for both teams. First from Menlo, Rory. You are a golfer
Indeed.
with a 7 handicap.
Yep.
Is that good?
Yeah, I like to think so.
Good,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
good, good. Are you guys just starting your team, your competitions now, or?
It starts in a couple months.
I thought so. It's a late spring kind of thing.
Yes,
So, well, good luck to you with that handicap. You should do very well.
Thank you.
There's a wonderful tradition at Menlo School called night school, where you kind of put your regular classes aside and get to do other things. And Christopher, you're teaching one of the subjects this time. What are you teaching?
I'm teaching a class on forensic science.
Forensic science. But you're going to show people it's not like it is on CSI. How are you going to do it?
We'll set up we'll have lessons on various investigative techniques, and then on the last day we'll set up a mock crime scene, and the students will solve the crime.
Fantastic. That should be really exciting. David, you're on the varsity basketball team.
Yeah.
So you must be right in the middle of your season right now.
Right, so we just started the league, so.
You're shooting guard.
Yeah.
And how's the season going for you so far?
It's going well.
We've lost a couple games, but we have a winning record, and we're doing well so far.
Fantastic. Good luck to you. All right, Mountain View. Ella, you spent last summer in Paris, and when we talked before, I thought, well, this girl's going to answer this question right away, and you didn't.
I know.
What was the big thing that happened to you in Paris?
Well, we went up to Sacré-Cœur and Montmartre, and we walked around for a good hour or two, not finding the Moulin Rouge.
You didn't find the Moulin Rouge.
No.
If you had found it, you would have answered that question.
I know.
Kevin beat you to it. That's because Kevin just came back for another one of his college tours.
Oh, yes.
What was this last college tour to?
It was down south to schools like UCLA, UCSD.
Okay, how'd that go?
It was fun. It was cold, but the buildings were really nice.
Do you see yourself as more of a Southern California guy, Kevin?
I think I'm just a California guy in general.
Just a California boy. Yeah, well, good luck to you with whatever college you get into. Deo, I want to congratulate you as a fellow animal lover. You just got a new dog. What kind of dog did you get?
German Shepherd.
Did you get a puppy or a full-grown dog?
1 year old.
1 year old. And what's his name?
Max.
Max. Well, give a cookie to Max for me after the game today, okay? Okay, you guys, we've got a close game. Let's keep it going with the next toss-up question. This is the first appearance of a defendant before a judge and usually involves the entry of a plea of guilty or not guilty. Deo.
Arraignment.
Correct. For 25 points, during arraignment, the judge may set an amount for what collateral used to ensure the defendant released from custody will return to court.
Bail.
That is right. And for 50 points, other possible pleas include which one in which a defendant does not admit guilt but waives his right to dispute the charges.
No contest?
That is right for 50 points. Next toss-up. His chief rival was Nicolas Fouquet, whom he succeeded as finance minister after Fouquet was arrested for corruption, who reformed the French system of taxation before becoming Secretary of State for the Navy in the 1660s. That was Jean-Baptiste Colbert. Let's give you another toss-up. Inhabitants of this island believe that its Mount Agung is a replica of Mount Meru, a sacred mountain of Hinduism. Denpasar is the capital of the namesake province of what Indonesian island? Kevin.
Sumatra?
No. You could talk it over and possibly steal it, Menlo.
Borneo?
No, it's Bali. Here's your next toss-up. It extends from South America on its eastern end to the coast of Indonesia at its western tip. What's the common name for this enormous belt, often named after, yes, Kevin?
Ring of Fire?
Right. For 25 points, much of the activity along the Ring of Fire results from this process in which one plate, typically an oceanic plate, slides underneath another plate into the mantle.
Subduction?
Right. And for 50 points, part of the Ring of Fire occurs where which plate, named for a South American culture, named for its geoglyphs and lines, subducts beneath the South American plate?
Nazca?
You got 50 points. Next toss-up. His December 1861 mental breakdown supported the truth of his statement that war is all hell. Which Union general in 1864 led his army on a devastating march through Georgia? Christopher.
Sherman.
Right, for 25 points. Sherman's march ended with the capture of which Georgia city, which he termed a Christmas gift in a communication with Abraham Lincoln?
Atlanta.
No, Savannah. Next toss-up. English scholar Thomas Gale claimed that this man held the title Earl of Huntington. Who was this outlaw who led a band of merry men? Ella.
Robin Hood.
Right. For 25 points, in modern tellings, Robin Hood takes up residence in which woods near Nottingham?
Sherwood Forest.
That is right. And for 50 points, in Robin Hood, Men in Tights, which English actor who played Wesley in The Princess Bride poked fun at Kevin Costner's portrayal lacking an English accent? Kevin?
Tom Cruise.
Carrie Elwes. Here's your next toss-up. Because Russia fought no major wars during his short reign, he was known as the peacemaker. With Maria Feodorovna as Tsarina, who ruled Russia from 1881 through 1894? Christopher.
Peter.
No. You can steal Mountain View. Talk it over.
Nicholas.
Alexander III. That is the end of the round. 60 for Menlo, 185 for Mountain View. Let's see what happens when we return. We are back, and let us say hello to the coaches for both teams. First from Menlo, Mr. Richard Steinberg. And from Mountain View, Ms. Sarah Mackway and Chris Chang. Thank you so much, coaches, for all you do. All right. Well, Mountain View has a pretty big lead, but this is what the final round is all about, giving Menlo a chance to catch up and overtake Mountain View. I have 3 categories, each containing 7 questions. Today, the questions are worth 35 points. 30 points. Okay, 30 points. And you need to get about 5 to take the lead. Okay, good. See, my math is great. And the categories are the Grand Tour, Roadrunners, and Veep Veep. Which category do you want, Menlo?
Roadrunners.
Roadrunners. Okay, you're looking for the name of an avenue, road, street, or boulevard to answer each of these questions, okay? Which of these is the TV home of Oscar the Grouch?
Sesame Street. Sesame Street.
That is right. Which of these was traveled by Dorothy in Oz?
Yellow Brick Road.
Correct. Which of these was an historical trading route for Chinese fabric?
Silk Road.
That is correct. Which of these runs between the White House and the Capitol?
Pennsylvania Avenue.
You got it. Which of these completes a monopoly with St. James Place and Tennessee Avenue? Christopher?
Vermont Avenue.
I think it's purple, but it might be orange. New York Avenue. Okay. Which of these is where British prime ministers live and work?
Parliament Avenue.
No, they're at number 10 Downing Street. And finally, which of these is a Manhattan Avenue linked to the advertising industry as seen on Mad Men?
I don't watch Mad Men.
Your answer, Christopher?
Wall Street.
Well, it's taken from Mad Men, Madison Avenue. But you got 4 correct, and you've only got 180, so it looks like Mountain View doesn't have to do anything. They win the game. Congratulations. We'll see both of you teams next week, and we'll see you next week, too. See you then. Bye-bye.